Hello and welcome to Roaming Norway. Today we are going to compare cars. This is a 2025 Model Y. It is the legacy Model Y. This is a 2021 Model Y of the same generation. So these should be similar, right? This should be the same car. This is not the new Juniper. Well, you are completely wrong if you think that. These are two completely different cars because Tesla does improvements asynchronous from the Model Years. They just improve things as they go along. This makes different Model Years completely different in some cases. So today I'm going to talk about 10 major differences between these two cars so that when you go on the used market and look for a Model Y, you have to note the differences that you want in your used Model Y. Of course, the new Model Y is out and that's completely different again, but those differences are very obvious. Here you can't really see the differences before I take the camera and take you on a tour of these two Model Ys that's completely different to drive. Before I start, I just want to mention that this one doesn't have a Tesla logo. It comes with a Tesla logo, of course. Okay, let's move on to the first major thing that's different. This one is built in China, this one is built in Germany. And how do you see where they are built? Well, you look at the VIN, the vehicle identification number. This one starts with XP7. It means it's a German-built car. It is in the midnight cherry red colorway, which is exclusive to the Berlin factory and actually discontinued now. This one is in the solid black colorway, the first color I think to come out of the Giga Shanghai factory. Yes, this car is built in China. You can see that with the LRW in the VIN. So the first major difference is the country of origin. So Germany for the 2025 model and China for the 2021 model. And something that's very interesting to note as well is that this is one of the early Model Ys from the Giga Shanghai factory. They started production there with the Model Y in February 2021, and I think this one is built like 4 months later or something like that. So it's quite an early build, I would say. Not the first one, but one of the first Model Ys in Europe, actually, this Model Y. So that's something very interesting to note. It's an early car from an early factory. This one is the complete opposite. This one is probably one of the last legacy Model Ys that were sent from the Giga Berlin factory. So this is one of the last legacy Model Ys that went off the assembly at Giga Berlin. They stopped production in February 2025. This car was delivered just a month or something later, so it's one of the absolute latest legacy Model Ys produced at the Giga Berlin factory. So we have one from the early Giga Shanghai factory and one late from the Giga Berlin factory. So they are completely different in that sense, that they are probably more, dialed in the factory. They know how to make these now. They of course changed the production to the new Model Y. This one was just an early test, and I would say that this video will definitely show some of those differences. This one is not washed. This one is never more washed. This is the abused Model Y, I would say. Absolutely abused. But today we are going to talk more about the actual differences from production than the usage of the cars. That, of course, makes this one have more battery degradation. This one has gone 120,000 kilometers. This one is completely new, under 2,000 kilometers so far. So yeah, let's jump in to the major difference number 2. And to see the major difference number 2, we first jump in here. This is a combined difference. So we open the tailgate, and this one is much faster and better. I don't know if this one is just too abused to perform the same way. Anyways, the major difference is split in 2 parts. It's about materials. So here you can see that the carpet goes up here, then it stops, then it's hard plastics everywhere here. Let's take a look at the new I have a dog cage there, so I'll show you here. You can see that the material goes all the way up here. And this is still hard plastic, but it goes all the way up here. And yeah, you can see the lip for the partial shelf is non-existent in this car. But here you have a lip for the partial shelf here. And the buttons, they are in the carpet area. So it looks and feels much nicer. And it's carpeted all the areas around here. And all the side pockets here are also carpets. And you have secure points here for securing cargo. I think you also have a securing point here. So you have dual securing points. Here you have, I believe you don't actually have any securing points. No securing points and no securing points there. So they are actually quite different in that sense. And it's very German for the German car to have securing points. They always have great securing points. And I also feel like the side pockets, it's bigger, but maybe it's just the carpet area here, because in this car, the carpet area stops here. And it's not the only difference. I said major differences, so that's, I would say, 50% of the way to a major difference, the carpet difference there. Another difference is the door card. So here you have something that looks like hard plastics, but it's actually soft. It's quite soft here. It's not hard plastics. It feels kind of like a thin leather material. Not super premium, but definitely not cheap. It's not hard plastics. It's soft. You can press it all the way in. But here you have completely hard plastics on the door cards. And this is the same for the front door there, of course, and the rear doors. So definitely less premium materials. So together with the carpet difference, I think this is definitely a less premium car. Let's move on to the third difference. The third difference is an actual technology difference. Odran both actually have a heat pump. They only came with heat pumps in Norway and Europe. But this one has it's prone to failure, this heat pump. So it needed some isolation, and in this car it's actually replaced because it went bad too early. But that's not the major difference. The major difference is the low voltage battery. In this car you have a 16-volt lithium-ion battery that hopefully should last longer than the lead-acid battery in this car. And this should be replaced soon actually in this car, because lead-acid batteries never last too long. You can see the paint is absolutely... Yeah, anyways, this car has a 12-volt lead-acid battery. This car has the 16-volt lithium-ion battery. What's interesting is that the new Model Y, the Juniper, has a mix of the two, because it has a lithium-ion battery, not a lead-acid battery, but it's actually 12-volt. So they moved away from the 16-volt that's present in this Model Y. Anyways, they no longer use a lead-acid battery. It should be, theoretically, it should be less maintenance, but I think it's an NMC battery, so it might degrade over time. I hope, and I also think that Tesla has good software that can take care of this battery so that it lasts for the lifespan of the car, actually. It could last the lifespan of the car, definitely. In the new Juniper Model Y they use an LFP battery, which is a way better choice in my opinion for the low voltage battery, as long as they can keep it up to temperature and stuff. So yeah, that was the third major difference. Let's move on. Something people don't think too much about when they are buying a Tesla is the seats. And here we have the German seats. They have quite a lot of support here. They feel amazing. I love these seats. Let's move on to the China car and the China seats. And these are some of the seats I've spent the most time in. And these seats have still support, but it's not as aggressive as the German one. You can of course see that the seats are very similar, but the side bolsters are flatter here. In the German one, it would be more like this. So it's quite an interesting difference between the seats. This car is very dirty. So if we move over here, and it's not the age, it's an actual difference in the seats. These ones have more support, they are more aggressively supported, and they feel better. But in the China car, these are the same seats I had in my 2021 Model 3 long range. I absolutely love those seats, so no complaints, but these ones have a bit more support. And I think if you are larger person, you will fit worse in these seats than the ones that were in the 2021 model. These are the same as in the American cars, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I always call the seats the German seats because, you know, they are, you can see they have kind of like a different stitching here. And in the China one, it's more rounded here. It feels more bolstered. It looks more comfortable, but in my opinion, they are the same type of comfort. It's just more support in the German-made Model Y. Here we are in the 2021 Model Y with the Intel Atom chip. And what does that mean? Well, Intel Atom is the second generation of media control units from Tesla. They first had a NVIDIA Tegra chip that never was available in the Model 3 or the Model Y, just in the Model S and X. Then they upgraded to the Intel Atom chip, which was a major leap. This one has the Intel Atom chip, like you can see here. The Intel Atom chip is faster than many legacy automakers' infotainment systems. They are actually pretty good, and we can still go and do this kind of route planning fast. We can go into our playlist, and it's kind of snappy, not that snappy, and you can see that it's lagging a little bit behind, but it's not a deal breaker, I would say. So this one has the Intel Atom chip, and that was changed over in 2022, I think. So, so that's something interesting to notice, how fast everything changes. It's still quite fast and still fast enough for most people, but here we have, yeah, a little bit of lag. I would say that that's not the major issue with the Intel Atom chip. The major issue is that we don't get all the newest updates. We get like the newest update package, but it's lacking features because we have this older Intel Atom chip. We were lucky that we got the weather radar. It was talks about the weather radar only being available on the AMD Ryzen cars, but it actually made it all the way to the Intel Atom cars, which is major props to Tesla for actually caring about their customers. But we, for example, don't get the full view of the car. When I jump over in the 2025 model, you will see a completely different layout because the car is larger and you can have full screen autopilot, and there are also other changes that only were made available on the AMD Ryzen cars. And as we move forward, as we get more updates, it'll be more and more things that's only for the AMD Ryzen cars, unfortunately. So that's another major difference between the cars, the media control unit. Here is another one. The cameras. The cameras are hardware 3. Many people believe that the media control unit and the hardware that's installed in the car for cameras are the same thing. It's not. You can have a newer media control unit with the older cameras. Keep that in mind. But this one has the old cameras and the old media control unit. So here we have the hardware 3 cameras, and these are actually not RGB cameras, which is why they look the way they do. They don't look as clear, they don't look as nice, they don't have all the proper colors, some of the colors are wrong, and I would say they are still good cameras. I see a little bit of noise in the camera, but I do that in the 2025 model as well, actually. You can see the tow hitch here. It's nice cameras and it works for most people. I wouldn't really complain about this, to be honest. The only reason I talk about this is that if we somehow get a full self-driving in Europe, this car will be the last to get updates because the cameras are of an old type. And you might not even get the updates at all. So that was another major difference. This has a completely different camera package than the 2025 Model Y. Okay, let's take this 2021 Model Y for a drive. And just to be completely honest, this car feels harsh. Keep in mind that this car has 19-inch wheels and that our Performance has 21-inch wheels. Right now it feels pretty okay actually. But yeah, I can feel all the bumps through the car. It's very uncomfortable, and yeah, of course here we are driving on the worst possible conditions. Yeah, I can feel everything. This car also has worse sound isolation. This car has no sound isolation almost, so you can hear everything from outside. Considering that this car has gone for 120,000 kilometers, I would actually argue that the squeaks and rattles are very, very good. They are almost non-existent. But yeah, again, I can feel most of the bumps, but the steering is pretty light actually. I always thought that this car had kind of harsh or heavy steering, but I think I'm actually wrong about that. It's lighter than the Performance Model Y. There can be many reasons for that, and that's not part of this video, yeah, this car is harsh and you can hear everything from the road under you. I can't imagine how the early Model Ys were in the US, because in the US you had even earlier Model Ys with, I think, even worse suspension than this one. But here, as we move into the bumps, they are harsh, they are directly transferred to you as a human behind the wheel, and the car feels, yeah, it doesn't have this comfort suspension that I will talk about once we drive the new 2025 Model Y. And yeah, the bumps just travel through the car. And I also have to mention that we are on winter tires, and winter tires are actually usually less noisy in these conditions because yeah, usually less noisy in these conditions because they are of a softer compound. But yeah, just a major difference in the suspension already. Here are the ultrasonic sensors that are no longer available on any Teslas actually. They have completely removed them. And all other cars have these kinds of sensors, so it's quite interesting. And we can see that there is a major visual difference here. So let's see here. We back up and we go back to the wall here. 72 centimeters, 55 centimeters, 66. It kind of has to calculate between the sensors to find the one that's closest. But you still actually have like a measurement of centimeters until you are crashing into the wall. This doesn't exist in the new Model Y, so this is actually a downgrade in my opinion. Here you can see the difference. Here is the car and we can throw it around. It looks completely different from the Intel Atom chip so far. The Intel Atom chip might get this update later that makes this the new layout, that you have the navigation here or here, that you can slide out and have a full screen of the car. But just to show you that everything is even more snappy than the Intel Atom chip. Not the end of the world in difference. The difference is more in the updates that you get. So you can see that the car is super snappy. We can go to North Cape even faster than in the Intel Atom chip. Of course, this one is bottlenecked by the LTE connection, but yeah, you can just, yeah, it's just so fast. You can just zoom into random places and it'll take a minute to load in, and you can, yeah, you have the most snappy camera in any car that I have seen. I love the hardware, I love the AMD Ryzen MCU chip that we can see that we have here. So what's also different is the cameras, and this is a separate thing. Again, hardware 4 is a separate thing from the MCU, the media control unit. They, dot machine, it's in Norwegian, this says hardware 4 basically. Hardware 4 makes the cameras better. They are higher quality. You can now see all the colors in their correct color. It's no like yellowing colors. There are clearer cameras, they are better, they are of course, together with the media control unit, you're able to film with the B-pillar cameras as well. That's not possible in the Intel Atom chip, so already the Intel Atom chip is falling behind. Yeah, but now I'm talking about the cameras, so let's talk about the cameras. For FSD or fully self-driving, in US we have seen that the hardware 4 cars get updates that are much better than the hardware 3 cameras, and people talk about the ability to get updates on the hardware 3. Is it already like too old and can't be updated? So it's very interesting to see that we already have this kind of difference in updates between the hardware 3 and the hardware 4 cameras. Of course, full self-driving might never come to Europe, so it might not make sense at all, but at least the cameras are clearer. And how can you know if you have hardware 4? Well, the cameras are red outside, and it says so here. Here we can also see that we had a lithium-ion and low voltage battery. So yeah, let's take this car for a drive. This car has the new comfort suspension that was made available in about 2023. How can you know if you have the comfort suspension? Well, I think most German Teslas have this comfort suspension. It's a German thing to have a more comfort-oriented car. Actually, I feel like I sit better in this car somehow. I don't know how to explain it. Do I sit lower? Is it that? Can I sit lower? No. But the seats are better. I like that the seats grab me more. While I do feel the bumps here, they are more, the car's suspension is more compliant, and it feels more like a solid, high quality car. So, a major difference in the suspension, I would say here. And keep in mind that this car has summer tires, which are of a harder compound. And we also have 21-inch wheels instead of 19-inch on the other one. And to be completely honest with you, this car still feels better. So the comfort suspension that Tesla made available in about 2023 for the Model Y, maybe 2022, no, I think it was 2023 for the comfort suspension, it's so much better. It's still not the same level as the Juniper or the new Model Y, but it's so much better. This car feels so much better to drive. If you hear any rattling, it's because of the dog cage that's improperly mounted in the rear, because I don't hear any rattles from the car itself here. Of course, there is quite a bit of vibrations coming through, and I can still feel like the low frequency boom in some cases, but it's definitely reduced over the Model Y that I just drove, the 2021 model with the old type of suspension. Noise isolation, both cars have double glazed windows in the front, and this car still feels has less road noise than the other Model Y. So I don't know where those differences are. I think there is a major difference in the wheel arch as well, with a different type of material there. This feels much better on the highway. You don't hear all the cars around. And I think the right word to describe the difference in suspension here is that it's more compliant. These large tires, of course, throw up a lot of rocks that I can hear that I couldn't really hear on the winter tires in the older Model Y. So that's a little bit of difference. But the two major differences between those two cars when driving is the compliance in the suspension. That's much better on this one, and of course the road noise that's reduced in this car. Of course the dog cage is a little bit noisy, but yeah. Another big difference is the ultrasonic sensor removal in this car. Here you can see that we have the visual approach, and it doesn't say how long until I hit the other car. This was terrible in the beginning, then it got a lot better actually. And now I can get very close to the cars comfortably. So it's pretty nice with the visual kind of ultrasonic sensors that we don't have, but it's like a visual view. Instead it uses the cameras, but it's not as accurate as ultrasonic sensors, and most people would probably wish that we still had ultrasonic sensors in the Teslas. And of course, another major difference is just the general quality of things. So I have tested this car from day one, so I know what the differences are. But as you can see, there are quite a few things that are starting to age on this car. I know what's been there all the time and what's new, but generally the doors don't feel that great. The buttons, the steering wheel doesn't feel completely dialed like it does in the new Model Y. So that's the last major difference that I wanted to talk about. Even the switchgear feels worse in this Model Y, and it has always been like this, especially the doors. They don't feel as premium as the new Model Y. I think that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching Roaming Norway. Check out the links in the description. I have some links to different high-quality Tesla stores that offer different things for Teslas. And if you want new floor mats because they look like this, you can go to Joa, for example. A lot of links down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you're buying a Tesla, I would recommend using my link, tesla.roamingnorway.com. You help out the channel tremendously. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you very, very soon.